Hello, welcome to September's journal cover. I'm doing a mandala style journal cover filled with doodles and it's perfect for beginners. I find it very meditative and very restful. So do follow along and I'll talk about the inspiration as we go through. I always start my journal covers with a small box. This is for the calendar, so that I've got the calendar for the month in place. And I've got some washi tape here and I'm folding this over a couple of times to prevent the point of my compass sinking through the top page. I'm going to fiddle around with finding the best place to begin. And once I'm happy, I'm going to draw a variety of circles. So some will be thinner than others, and that's because I like some separation between my doodle layers. So there'll be some thin, some thick. I don't have a plan for this, I just mark it all out because you can actually adapt it as you go through and add your doodles, and I'll show you that later on. I'm going to add some lines spiralling out from the centre, and to do that and to get it accurate I'm using, I think this is called a protractor, but it's a long time since I've used one sort of at school or anything. I mark this out at 30 degrees all the way around the protractor, I hope that's what it's called, and then I'm going to line up the central dot where I had the point of my compass with each of these 30-degree marks, and I'm going to spiral out from the center, and that will give me guidelines. It means that when I'm adding my designs, my little doodles, into my mandala, I know the direction and I know the angle, and it just keeps everything neat. It does make my life a great deal easier because it means that I don't have things sort of flopping around the circle or looking too wonky. I like wonky, but it has to be a little bit controlled wonky, if that makes sense. The inspiration for this page came from the seasonal changes I'm seeing around me here in France, and that doesn't just mean changes in the weather, it means changes in what we're seeing on the market stalls and in the farm shops. And I've done some doodles of some of the vegetables that I'm seeing around me because September makes me think of soup, and that's where this is going. It's going down a very heavy vegetable road. I've taken some of the seed heads and I've chopped off the stem of the seed heads, and I'm using them as a little motif to begin my circle. The next thing I want to add are leeks, and I'm just going to mark in 3 long lines, and this means that I've got good spacing for each of my little leeks. Now the point of these is not to accurately draw the most perfect leek, it's to give a representation of a leek. So whereas the little roots on my doodle on the left are quite spindly, in my mandala I've chosen to put a little curve on those because it's a figurative thing. It's not a literal leek. I'm going to finish marking up the spaces that I need for these leeks, and then I'm going to go around the rest of my circle. I'm just doing very, very light marking using my pencil, and I'm using a little sheet of paper under my hand because that stops you smudging your pencil lines. Now I want something that has more of an open shape to it as a contrast to the leeks. And again, I'm marking these out very, very roughly. These are actually just little circles that I'm doing. And then when I work in ink later on, I'll refine that shape or firm it up. This is how it looks when the circle of beetroot is finished. And the next thing I'm going to switch to are carrots. That's because I want them to relate to the leeks I've already done slightly lower down. And isn't that bright? Really bright carrots. You'll be able to see them much easier when it's inked in. I'm going to add little bits of leaves at the top, and I'll tell you why I'm doing that later on when we get to the part where I'm colouring everything in. I'm going to finish this circle of carrots. I'm just going to mark them out. And now I'm switching to something that's more of an open shape again, which is why I'm choosing these bell peppers. These reflect the beetroot open shape below. So they're not identical, but the shapes are very similar. I'm adding a tiny little thin line above these because I want more separation between the bell peppers and my final doodle, which are these little seed heads. So I'm going to begin to ink everything in. You'll be able to see it much more clearly. And once the ink has dried for a moment or two, then I can begin to erase my pencil marks. And now I deserve a cup of tea. If you've been following along too, you probably deserve one as well. I'm going to ink in this last one in real time because I want you to see that this is a slow process. It's deliberately slow, it's restful, it's meditative. There's nothing rushed about it. Every line matters. So this isn't a speed trial. This is about slowing down, taking it easy. It's why I filmed this video the way that I have done, in a slow, deliberate, simple way without any flashy editing. Now I'm going to bring in some colour. So I've got my pencils and I'm going to add some dark green at the top of the leeks and a lighter green at the bottom. With the beetroots, I'm using a couple of colours. I've got a lovely dark red and I've got an orange just to add a highlight. And I'm adding green because that will reflect the colour of the leeks as well. The colour is another way that you can add interest to your mandala. So the orange of the carrots is just imbued with a little bit of red as well. Then I repeat the green with the bell peppers and a little brown and red for the seed heads at the top. I hope this has inspired you to take a look at what's around you and use that to do your doodles and so begin to tell your own story. And if you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, that really helps. If not, just wave at the screen, that's lovely too. And hopefully I'll see you next time.